right, welcome back to Mind Over Emotion, the podcast. I'm your host, Herk. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at Mind Over Emotion, the podcast. If you want to come be on the podcast, shoot me an email to mindoveremotion, at gmail.com. Or you can shoot me a text message to area code 702-525-6118. All right, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you do me a favor? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Brique Smith. I'm 36 years old. I live in Bremerton, Washington, and I have 0 kids and 0 man in my life.
Okay. How long you been single?
It's been about a little bit over a year.
Okay. Enjoying the single life?
Yes.
All right. Where are you from?
I'm from here originally, but I moved around to Florida and Utah and stuff. But
Okay. But you grew up predominantly in Bremerton?
from the age of I'd say 13 or no, maybe 12 until now. Yes.
Okay. How was growing up in Bremerton for you?
It's Bremerton. Bremerton's kind of, it's all right. It's more so I can't explain it. There's not a lot to do as far as entertainment and stuff. So you kind of gotta outsource to nearby cities and stuff. But Bremerton's all right.
Okay. Did you grow up in a nuclear household?
So I grew up adopted by Mormons, and that was a nuclear household. And then after I was returned to my mother at the age of 12, it was a single mother household.
Wait. So you said you were adopted?
Yes.
How did that come about?
So when I was about 3, my mom and her current husband, which is my stepdad, they were splitting up, and she said that she couldn't take care of me. So he asked if he could take me with him, and so I went with him. And then he married a lady that was Mormon and converted him into Mormonism. She had 8 kids of her own, and then it was just me and my half sister from his and my mother's relationship.
Okay. I thought you meant you got adopted by some random people through the adoption agency.
Oh yeah, no. Basically, the lady she was random to me, but yes.
And how was life living with them?
It was actually pretty terrible. My stepmother, she was abusive, and so for whatever reason, she singled me out, and she didn't like me above anybody else, and so she forced me to live in the basement because I wasn't allowed upstairs. Because I would steal food because she would starve me. She would give me for breakfast, she'd give me a rotten banana on purpose, a rotten banana, and then watch me run down to the bus stop a mile away, and make sure I ate that. And then for lunch, she'd pack me half a piece of bread, and then for dinner was another was a whole piece of bread for dinner. But
That's what's that Disney movie? You remember the one where they had the little step kid?
yeah, a little princess is what reminds me of. But
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. And do you still talk to them at all?
No. She also she had this weird sick game where she would starve me, knowing that I would go upstairs at night and steal food because I was getting dizzy from hunger and stuff. And then and when she'd catch me, she would punish me by making me do hard labor from sun up to sundown. I looked on Google Maps the other day, and you can still see the big huge pile of rocks that I had, because the whole backyard was a huge backyard. I cleared it all of all the weeds, and then any rock that was larger than a quarter, I put in a little planter, plastic planter thing, and I carried it up the hill and then made it just a huge pile. And you can still see it on Google Earth, the pile of rocks that I made over the years.
Damn. Thinking about where was your dad?
My stepdad, he was at work all the time, and then whenever he came back home at night, she'd make sure I'd stay away from him, and she basically would just always tell him that I was in trouble again for stealing food. And so
Now this is my question: how can you steal food in a house that your house, you're a kid and you live there? It's your
exactly.
house. How is it stealing food?
Exactly. Yeah, she even pulled me out of school because the school was starting to catch on, because I was going into other kids lunch boxes during lunch and stuff to try to get food. And one time I was sick, and I vomited, in class, and there was absolutely nothing in my stomach, no stomach contents except for bile in my stomach. And they asked, they were going to send me home, and I was crying and begging them not to send me home. So they were starting to catch on, as far as what was going on at home. So she just pulled me out of school, and then I was just doing the hard labor and stuff full time. She didn't Yeah.
And the state never got involved? Nothing?
Nobody ever told him. I mean, I was so young, and I didn't realize the extent of like how abusive it was. I just thought that it was my fault. You know, I thought that.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
about your siblings, your step siblings?
I mean, they all kind of like turned blind eye to it.
Okay. You have contact with them anymore?
With my sister, yeah. Like she was the only one that made it bearable. Like when my stepmom wasn't home, she would allow me to be like a child. She would like baby me and like take care of me and stuff and make me like feel
What's the
loved.
age difference?
She is I think like 8 years older than I am.
Okay. Dang. They made her be like a mom early too.
I mean, yeah, just like briefly here and there it was rare that my stepmom wasn't home, but she would she would do her best to like kind of like try to comfort me, but like for holidays like Halloween, she'd let me go trick or treating, and then when I came home, she'd take the candy away from me, and then she'd give it to the other kids. And same with like Easter, she'd let me find the basket, but then she'd just take it away from me. And then same with Christmas, she'd let me open presents, but then take them away from me.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Well, first, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. What was like your escape though? Like, how did you? Because as a kid, right, you want to have fun. Naturally, that's what you want to do. You want to have fun, and you don't want to deal with, obviously you don't want to deal with any kind of like trauma like that. So in the midst of that, as a kid, how did you deal with it?
So the basement was full of books, so I read like almost every book in that basement, and then I asked my stepdad for Christmas if I can get classical music, CDs or whatever to listen to. That way I can make up cartoons in my head. You know how like the Looney Tunes and all that stuff has like the classical music in the background and stuff. So that's what I would do.
So your dad knew that you were living in the basement?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I just don't understand, like, because as a father, I just can't see like if I had my kids had a stepmom, and I don't care what kind of trouble you got in, you're not living in the basement while our kids are living upstairs in their rooms.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. Did you ever talk to them about this? Ever?
No, I want to. There's been times where I've driven from Florida to here and back, and I'd stop in Utah, and I would just post up outside the house and kind of just kind of try to get the courage to like just go up to her and say, hey, that wasn't okay what you did. You know, that wasn't cool. And I haven't been able to do it.
And they haven't like tried to reach out ever?
Not at all. No, absolutely not. No.
Wow, I bet the stepmom hasn't for sure.
Yeah, they pretty much like pretend like I never existed. That's what it seems like.
Okay. What about friends? Did you have friends during this time?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a few neighbor girls that I would hang out with. I mean, whenever I was not in trouble or whatnot. But I spoke to one of them, and they said, oh yeah, we all wondered what happened to you. But like a lot of times I'd be outside working, and then they'd want me to come play, but I tell them. I would just lie and say I was earning $1 for the day. I said, yeah, if I work all day, then I get to earn $1. So I mean, just to kind of like make it not seem like I was in trouble, like just because it was embarrassing, because I felt like I was the bad one for like being such a pig that I wanted to go steal his food and eat. It was bad.
That's just like your natural instinct is to
survival. Yeah,
survival instincts, right?
Because I was working, I was doing like literally hard labor. Like like these muscles I have now, like it's still like residual from like during that time in my life. I never lost those, it's definitely I was getting dizzy, like almost passing out from hunger, like all times, and I would get heat stroke and stuff, and like she would never, like when I was out there pulling weeds, or like if I tried to crouch down, she would yell at me, and she'd watch it, and she'd like stand up, like she made sure that I was never comfortable ever.
Wow. Well, if she's watching this somehow, I hope that you talking about this opens her eyes so that the pain and trauma that she bestowed upon you, and hopefully maybe she reaches out, or whenever you feel it's the right time for you to reach out, she takes your call and she's listens to you and tries to understand from your point. How did you get back with your biological mother though?
My stepdad, I guess, started catching on to the fact that like she was like, it was going way beyond like what was legal, for one thing. And so they would fight about it a lot, and then so I guess in order to like save his marriage, he got a hold of my mom and told me to come get me, or told her to come get me.
Okay, and he just gave up his rights.
Yeah, he dropped me off at my grandma's house, and then waited for my mom to make it up from Florida to come get me. But the last thing she said to me was, she was like, "Well, now you get to sit there and stuff your face and eat all you want. Like, I bet you're happy about that." And that was the last thing she said to me.
Your stepmom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she fat now?
She's thin, but she's just a horrible woman.
I was about to say that's gonna be ironic.
Yeah. No, she's just a horrible woman.
Damn. So when you got back with your mom, what was like first? What was her response to you like about the thing what you had been through?
She felt super bad about it. Because she said that she tried to contact me a couple times and they would never let her talk to me. And when I was living with them, they always would say, or my stepmom would tell me and all my brothers and sisters like that my mom was out stealing cars and like doing drugs and like being a criminal, and that basically like making it seem like I was a bad person because of that. And but my mom wasn't doing all that. I mean, she some of it maybe, but like not something you want to tell kids about.
Yeah.
That's
Did your mom like when you were younger? Did your mom ever have any like kind of like substance abuse or
yeah.
trouble with the law?
Yeah, so my mom, she dealt with a lot of trauma in her life. Growing up, her dad would rape her every day until she was like 16, and after he was done, my grandma would come over and ask her how it was, and like be all like kind of like snotty about it and like jealous. And then also, I guess her brothers, a lot of her brothers would molest her and stuff growing up too. So she had a lot of trauma, and she dealt with that. She's very emotionally fragile as it was, and so she turned substances in a way as a way to kind of like find, I guess, some way of escaping herself. So
Yeah. How's your mom doing today?
she passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. How did she pass?
They said that she overdosed on meth, but I mean, first of all, I don't think that's even possible. Second of all, like she was found at a person's house who was clean and sober, and they didn't find any paraphernalia, no drugs on her, or nothing like that. But I think she might have had it in her system, so they stopped looking after they found that.
Oh yeah, like
To
use
find
it
the
as an
cause.
escape.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry for your loss with your mother. After you got back with your mother, where'd you guys go? Came to Bremerton?
So we were in Florida with she had married a piece of shit alcoholic, and so we were living with him and his mom down in Florida, and then
What part of Florida?
it was in Palm Bay,
Palm Bay. Okay.
and then so one night after I got done with, because I was in Taekwondo or whatever, she came and picked me up from Taekwondo, and the car was packed, and she said we're leaving, and we went to a hotel and hopped a plane and came up to Washington to stay with her brother, until he helped us get into a place.
Okay. And then after dealing with living with your or not your biological, your adopted father and the abusive stepmom, and then being back with your mom with her guy that you said was a piece of shit, and then now you guys kind of like got a breath of fresh air. Would you say like in Washington? How was that for you? Because it seems like for years up until this point you've just been through in a sense hell.
Yeah.
So how was that for you, like mentally, to just be there?
It felt good to just be a person, and not have to like always be scared of like hearing those footsteps and come down the basement steps. Because but my mom, she had a very severe gambling problem, and so she was gone pretty much all the time, either at work or gambling, and so I'd be home with like no food, no nothing, kind of, and we were, I mean, really poor as it was, and then one day I was coming from school and this guy was following me like in a car when I got off the bus, and he turns out he was an investigator because I guess she had been cashing like bad checks or something like that, and he's asked me questions about it, and turns out she'd been fired for like the past like month and a half, and she didn't tell me, and she was just out gambling all the time, and she's using my name on an account that she was using to cash the checks. I found out because I seen in the car like where she'd been practicing like typing up like my name, and then like a fake address and stuff. So.
Wow. Do you feel like the stuff that you've been through as a kid has given you like trust issues?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, but it also like it made me strong enough to deal with the next phase of my life, which is also like terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like if I hadn't dealt with all this stuff as a child, then I don't think I'd be strong enough to deal with what I went through after that. So like, I am in a way grateful for it, but
yeah, but life is supposed to be. I don't think that life is meant to be,
right.
like, filled with so much trauma, so much pain, no happiness. I think that life, like I always say sometimes, like life is like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like you're going to have your lows, you're going to have your highs, but it shouldn't just be low, to the point where you just become like so hard that you don't even really process everything. You just kind of like let it bounce off, so to speak,
Yeah.
because really it doesn't bounce off.
Yeah.
Would you say that you have, because your mom had an addictive personality, would you say that you have one?
In a way, I mean, I'm more so like, yeah, because I am very into psychedelics, I would say.
Why psychedelics?
I just feel like because so for example mushrooms, you know how they are known to like create like pathways in your brain that weren't built before and all that, and it connects like with it's basically like if your brain is a freeway, and
Okay.
it creates more like on ramps and off ramps like for your whole brain to connect with. But I feel like because I was isolated and stuff during the very like formidable years of my life, like where I should have been developing like social skills and like just like the foundation for like what people need to be or go through and like learn and develop, to become functioning adults, or like just like be able to like socialize or like interact with the world like normally. I
Yeah.
feel like I didn't have that, and so I think a lot of my basic functions and foundations have been are like not.
Fully developed.
Yeah, and so I feel like I miss out on like a lot of just little things that people probably like experience like day to day without even realizing it that they are, and I feel like I miss out on a lot of that. So
All right.
psychedelics helps to make me feel like it gives me that feeling of like happiness and good, because I don't really feel a lot of like emotions. I mean, otherwise, because it's kind of I'm able to like compartmentalize like no matter what happened during my childhood, like what how I felt about it didn't matter, didn't change it. So like I learned to like separate that, because if I didn't, then it would just make it harder on myself to have to deal with it, because if I felt one type of way about it, it didn't I mean it didn't stop it. So
But those feelings that you do feel about it are real. So
yeah,
I think that at some point you gotta kind of like address it. Would you say?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
Now let me ask you this. With that being said, looking back on your childhood, because I'm pretty sure like you probably like just kind of like pushed it to the back of your brain, like you said, and like you haven't really thought about it. But now that you spoke on it, thinking about it, like how do you feel about your childhood? Like how does it make you feel thinking about it?
I feel like it has caused me a lifetime of like problems, because of the way I was treated, like throughout my childhood. Like it had my standards really low for how I expect to be treated by, like, for example, like in relationships, or like people around me. So I tend to date people that are just treat me horribly, and a lot of times it just goes over my head, and I realize like it doesn't even compute. Like that's not okay. That's not cool. Like you shouldn't be even okay with it, let alone like expecting it.
Yeah.
So it's led, which has led to like a lot of like consequential like just struggles and like just horrible traumatic experiences in my life.
Yeah. Um, because obviously you want to eventually want to talk to her. Um, what would you hope to hear from her?
Just why?
Why? Why do you feel like that's important to hear for you?
Because I would like to understand why I deserved that.
Well, you didn't deserve it.
Yeah, or
There's no reason she can.
why she felt like I deserved that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say yeah. No, there's nothing that a kid, a human, let alone a kid, could do to
Mm-hmm.
deserve that kind of punishment. I mean, do you think about murderers,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't even do that.
Yeah.
Murderers don't. They get three meals in a cot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they still get outside. Stuff like that. They get treated with. I can't speak too much. I've never been to prison, but I don't. I never heard a story. In modern day where inmates are just doing hard labor from sun up to sundown, unless they like work a job or something,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Did you ever go to therapy?
No, I mean I started to like doing the like the Zoom with the therapist and stuff, but I couldn't really afford it,
Okay.
and I just I should, but I would like to be diagnosed, because I feel like I have some kind of like, I don't know, but for sure PTSD, but also like some kind of personality disorder. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but maybe possibly even like a form of autism or something, because I feel like I have Asperger's, which I know is no longer like considered a term of in the mental health world, but just I realized like that's like not even like a year ago I was reading off symptoms of it, because I was like talking about somebody else, and I was like, I think he has Asperger's, and they're like, well, what does that mean? I was like, well, let me just read it off to you, and I'm like reading off. I was like, fuck, I think I have Asperger's. Like I was like, fuck, damn it.
That's like those infomercials. If you listen to them long enough, you start thinking like maybe I need like some whatever they're promoting on there,
Yeah,
right? Because you start seeing the symptoms and stuff. It's like maybe I need to talk to my doctor about that.
yeah,
Now, I think that maybe I wouldn't say that like I mean I don't know you that well, but I wouldn't think that maybe like multiple persons like I wouldn't think that. I would just think that, I mean, it kind of makes sense for you to kind of like be kind of like all over the place,
mm-hmm.
because sitting in a room in a basement by yourself for especially as a kid, like you said, when you're supposed to be developing, social skills and all that stuff, you're really just kind of in a room entertaining yourself. I think that you kind of like make up people to talk to, or you talk to yourself, and then now and you kind of like escape. You become somebody who you really want to be, because it's like an escape from the situation you're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that like as you get older, you're not playing anymore, so you just kind of do it through life, and then next thing you know, now you're one way at home with the people who, you know personally, and still treat you a certain way, and then you're a different person with the people who you meet because you're free to be. It's like a clean slate. You're free to be who you really want to be.
True.
Now, what's your thoughts on therapy though? I know you said you didn't do it, but what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it's a great thing. I think that like people that are going through stuff should seek it out, because there's been so many, proof, or so much proof that it works, and there's been people that have worked through it. I guess I would just need to know where to start as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, I haven't heard nothing bad about it, so I mean, I could never say that nobody should go to therapy. So
yeah, I'm curious for you, somebody who had a lifetime of just trauma, right? When did it come to your realization that mental health was like a serious thing? Because technically, that's just reality. You don't really know nothing different.
I mean, there was one point where like, I had a gun, and it was more for protection from an ex that was, I was worried I would have to like, protect myself with it from, but I'd gotten so depressed and so like just I can't even explain it. I've never been suicidal before. It was just during that time like I was really having a hard time, every day more and more convincing myself to not shoot myself in the head. But the only thing that stopped me was because my dog would never know what happened to me, and I wouldn't want her to wonder.
That's beautiful. The reason why I say that's beautiful is because most people say like my mom, my kid, something like that. People who, it's your kid, it's your mom, they're supposed to love you, and so that makes sense. But you said your dog. I mean, you don't have kids,
No.
so that's your kid. But that's dope because people also forget that dogs have emotions, and you're their, we call them your owner, but you're like their parent. You know what I mean? You're the one who provides for them, and so they're safe with you. And then when you're gone, that hurts them too, just like when we lose like a family member. What kind of advice would you give to somebody, like a kid out there who might be watching this, who has like, they feel like they're in an abusive situation with their family, they feel like they have no outlet, they feel alone, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't be scared to say something to any authority. Like tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like get attention to it, and don't be worried about you getting in trouble, or like even if for some reason before you get help that your parents still have access to you and they might punish you. It's worth it to get the word out, because you will be saved. If you tell other people, you will be saved. Don't ever think that like things might get better, because like there was times when I think people were like catching on to like what my stepmom was doing, and so she would all of a sudden just out of nowhere just be nice to me, like all of a sudden like and I'd fall for it every time. I start calling her mom and stuff. It would be for like maybe 3 days at a time, but and so like and then coincidentally like I'd have authorities that ask me questions about her, like ask me how I'm treated and stuff, and I would lie and say, oh, everything's great, because at the time it was, and I just wanted her to keep treating me like that, and I thought everything was better, but it wasn't. She just was manipulating me, and just know that like that someone like out there will help you if you have to open your mouth, though. Otherwise no one will know, and it will continue, and you might end up dead. You never know. I mean, like there are so many times that because I watch a lot of true crime, and like there's so many kids that like they, even if they try speaking out, then they turn around and they take back what they said because they're scared of punishment. And that ends up being their death sentence, because if people don't know, people can't help you. And don't be scared or embarrassed or feel like it's your job to protect the person that's abusing you, because it's not. It's their job to protect you, and you need to protect yourself if they're not doing it. So just say something to anybody, everybody. Make as much noise as you can about it. Obviously, like, make sure that you're sticking to the truth. Don't exaggerate, because you feel like it might. Stick to the truth, and just let everybody know, and you will get help, and things will get better for you. Just don't be scared.
Man, I ain't got nothing to say after that.
Yeah.
But no, When did your mom pass away again?
2014.
2014. So you were already out of high school then, right? So throughout high school, how was it for you out here in Birmingham?
So, when my mom was going through that legal stuff with the checks and stuff, that was about the time that we ended up losing our house. She called me one day because I was staying with a friend, and she said, "Hey, we're losing the house. You need to come over and help me pack it up. So, and I have to go to jail tomorrow too for she didn't even say how long, just for a while. So just come, And so we went, and me and my friend, we went there and helped pack her up, and then she went to jail the next day, and then she had my friend's mom's boyfriend, like, taking everything to a storage unit, but she ended up just taking anything that was worth anything, and he went and sold that, and the rest of it he just kind of threw away. So we didn't. Yeah.
Damn.
And then I went to go stay with my dad, my biological dad, who I just met not that long before that. But he was an alcoholic and stuff, and his girlfriend was an alcoholic, and we just didn't get along very well. But then that didn't work out, so I moved out and back in with my friend, and then a few years later I found out that he hung himself.
And how'd that affect you?
I felt terrible because last thing I said to him was we're in a fight because my mom would have me go ask him for child support because she was scared too, and that's why I'd just go ask him for money, and then he would yell at me about it, and last thing he said to me was that he's not a fucking ATM, and last thing I said was that he was a piece of shit, and then
Right. Right now, sitting here now, thinking about that, how do you feel about that? That's a lot.
Because
I know how you guys were at that moment, but
yeah, it's terrible. Like, you don't want to grow up without a dad. I don't necessarily know exactly what all I missed out on, but I know that there's a lot.
do you feel like, and I don't know how to ask this the right way, so I'm just gonna ask it. Do you feel like that daddy issues is a real thing?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I named my dog Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know what? I know when I got here and I seen the dog and you said that's Daddy, it threw me off.
mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, because I wasn't thinking the dog. I'm looking around like, who's your dad?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, your dog is a girl, right?
Yeah. So she was the biggest girl as my other dog's baby. So she's my baby daddy.
How did you what made you want to name your dog Daddy?
She's just the biggest girl, and it's just funny for grown men to yell "daddy" out in public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And to have something to actually respond when I yell "daddy," it's nice to have something to respond.
Okay. When you were in high school, all right, did you ever start to deal with the things that you had been through?
No, during high school, I was using drugs, and I kind of like fucked off like 8th and 9th grade year, and then I was still like using drugs, but I was like maintaining enough to like be able to like make up those years, and then I ended up graduating. But I was living with a friend up the road from where our house was, because we lost our house when it was probably like 7th or 8th grade that we lost the house. So I was living with these people, and in order to I guess like pay for like staying there, I would have to go to school, come home, take care of the kid, cook dinner, clean the house, clean the kitchen, and then as soon as I was 16, I had to get a job right away to start helping pay rent. So it helped me to
Gotta cope.
Yeah, it helped me. It kept me busy enough to where I was.
Like, what kind of drugs were you using?
I was using like cocaine and like weed and just like Adderall.
Okay, is that the extent of your drug use you ever had?
Well, that and psychedelics.
And psychedelics, and that's all you do now is psychedelics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What made you get off of doing other drugs? Good. Not saying that you shouldn't have, obviously, but
It just became like not really relevant in my life. I guess coke was like something you do like as a party, like I guess a way to like get more comfortable socializing with people, because I wasn't used to that. So that was kind of like, my way of like trying to belong, I guess, in a way.
Okay. When you graduated high school, what was your how did you foresee like the next couple of years of your life? What did you think was gonna happen?
I guess I really didn't think about it. I think like I'm kind of just living day to day. I think I'm still in survival mode. So just get through the day basically is how I probably think about things, because I just
So when you graduated, your plan was just to kind of like figure it out as you go?
Yeah, get a job, make sure I was employed, and then make sure I have a place to live, and then beyond that. I mean, can't really think beyond that, you know.
Okay. And did you did you ever want kids?
Yeah, I mean, and I do still want a kid. I'm getting to the age where it's almost like too late, but like I got like 2 years or so, like before.
You said the age where it's almost too late.
Yeah, because
I think God determines that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also is I have two uteruses, so
I don't know what that means.
that's what I said. And then I asked the nurse, and she said, "Well, pigs have two uteruses," and I was like,
Who?
"Pigs have two uteruses," and I was like,
Doesn't make it
"Okay."
better.
She's like, "That's just a fun fact," and I was like, "Well, thanks, Snapple, but like, what the fuck does that mean?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she said that basically like when you're in your mother's womb, your uterus has like a wall separating it, and if I mean, because mom was doing drugs, she said that she's doing as many drugs as she can get her hands on while she was like pregnant with me, because she didn't realize that she was still pregnant because she had miscarried my twin, because I guess I had a non-identical twin, and so I think that might have led to what caused my wall to not dissolve like it should have, like most babies, so it created basically two uteruses. And so if I get pregnant in the wrong one, my body it's not hospitable to my to the baby.
So it's like almost like a dead uterus.
Yeah, so it's like renting out like a duplex, and one of the units is like condemned. You know what I'm saying? And so
okay.
I have to evict a tenant if it's in the wrong unit, kind of thing.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had a pregnancy scare?
I have been I've gotten pregnant twice, and I mean my body just like attacks itself, and it's terrible, and I just felt like I chose to have an abortion because other circumstances, and also just because it was just dangerous, because the baby wouldn't be able to form like properly, and the baby's father was just not going to help me, and it gets to a point where like I can no longer work because I get so sick, and if the person that I'm supposed to have the baby with refuses to get a job, and it's like, okay, this isn't going to work, I can't.
Sure.
I mean,
okay. And then how's life for you right now?
it's good. I work, and then and I feel like a lot of my relationships has been like me like approval seeking in a way, and now that I'm in an industry where like I have the opportunity to like move up, and like I have that's where I get that my approval that I feel like I need is from like my bosses or whoever, like, and getting promotions and like succeeding at work. So I feel like that's helped me a lot to not taking strays is what I tend to do as far as like,
taking strays.
Yeah, as far as like, and I feel like I've been a single mother my entire dating relationship, so that might be another reason why I haven't had kids, is because I'm always feeding them, clothing them, giving them a place to stay, basically mothering them. But
the boyfriends?
Yeah. Yeah.
You might need to find a new pool to fish in.
Yeah. I just my picker's broken. I tend to just love the most heinous pieces of shit that you could think of. I think I've dealt with every level of narcissism and abuse that is out there. I mean, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to run across anymore, but yeah, I've had guys. There was one guy that he was going on and on about why natives are like the superior race or whatever, and I couldn't even sit there and listen to it any longer, and I was falling asleep, and he got mad I was falling asleep, and he started pouring lighter fluid all over me, and like squirting all over, and then like and flicking a lighter at me and stuff, and like he got in my mouth everywhere, and then he said that if my mom came and checked on me, that he was gonna kill her too. So I just had to be quiet.
Oh, who was doing this?
My boyfriend at the time. And then he ended up tying me up and raping me. And I just had to be quiet because I didn't want my mom to come check, because I didn't want her to get hurt too.
How old were you this? What did?
I was, I think 21.
And then so you never told nobody?
No, I mean it was not until years later I told his sister, because her and I are really good friends, but I never told her until just recently when he came over to her house, and I was and then he was asking for a ride, and she asked me to give him a ride, and like after he had done the whole like pouring lighter fluid all over me and stuff, we ended up being homeless because he refused to get a job, and I couldn't afford the apartment that we were living in anymore. My mom was moving out, and so we were living in the car, and he basically was holding me hostage in the car. Like he wouldn't like let me have the keys to it. Like if he left the car, he would take things, parts of it that were like crucial for it to be able to start it with him. We just lived in the parking lot at my work at Burger King, and I slept in the parking lot in the car, and then I wake up going to work. But he would drink, he'd steal all my money and then get drunk, and then when I got off work, he'd just sit there and like abuse me all night, and it was horrible.
My God.
And that's just one of them. There's worse than other ones. It's just.
There's worse what?
Worst boyfriends I've had that have done
Okay, well
worse stuff.
let me unpack this first boyfriend. Um, you were 21
Mm-hmm.
when all this happened, and why didn't you tell no one?
I
I
again
know
I
that's and let me just say this. I know like people watching like, what, you're not supposed to ask that. I'm only asking that because from the outside looking in, we always have we form these like ideas like, oh, like this person, this situation, they should just did this. You could always just do this. It's easy to leave. I've even said it, right? But for somebody who's actually been through it,
mm-hmm.
like mentally, what was going through your mind to where you had to, you just could not tell like nobody, your friends, your mom, nobody.
I mean, for one, I was embarrassed, and then for two, like I couldn't get away from him. Like I mean, I wasn't gonna leave my car with him because my car is all that's kept me, separate from the rest of the bottom feeders that out there that were homeless.
Yeah.
I could get to work, I could get to where I needed to go, and if I didn't have that, then I was scared that I would never be able to like get on my feet and like actually be successful at all.
Yeah.
And again, like what my stepmom had done to me and stuff, like again, my standards were very low for how I felt like I should be treated and for what was acceptable.
Yeah.
And like so when I go into work and I'd have like bruises on my neck from him choking me out, I just tried to cover my hair and stuff, and I was just embarrassed.
How'd you get out of that relationship?
We went to go visit a friend one day, and she had asked me for a ride to the store, and he didn't want to go. And so like when I took her to the store, I said, hey, I'm gonna do the dip. I'll truck back off, but I was like, I'm leaving. And she said, okay. And then I was able to leave, and I went out to, Belfair, which is like an hour away from here or whatnot. And I was able to stay out there, and he didn't have a car, so he had no way to come find me. So I was able to get away from him like that, finally.
And you never seen him again?
Not until just recently when I seen him over at my friend's house, because that's her brother.
How was that?
He was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. Like, nothing you can say has any like weight on what it is that I'm thinking about or how I feel or like what will happen after that. So like you can just keep it to yourself. I don't give a fuck.
That's you don't need anything from him to have closure.
No, absolutely not. No, he's a fucking piece of shit, and he's still homeless, living in a car. I mean, I don't even have a car anymore. And you know what I'm saying? Like he's just still a pathetic loser, and I dodged a bullet by getting away from him.
Yeah. And then your next boyfriend, how was that?
My next boyfriend, he ended up being super, like he was very like controlling and manipulative and like brainwashing and stuff. So, and he was selling drugs. Like, so basically like. I was like the runner. I was going around like doing all the footwork while he would stay at one spot, like at the hotel we were living at, and like kind of like orchestrate everything because I wasn't allowed to have my own phone. I didn't, and like when he'd buy me clothes, he'd only buy me like boys' clothes, and and he would micromanage every like he had it down to the minute of when I would be arriving somewhere and whatnot, and the whole time he was cheating on me while I was out doing that kind of stuff. So
it's just man, it's crazy because literally your entire life. You like literally everybody who you've entrusted with like your just emotions or God entrusted by putting them in and you're putting you in their care. They've all literally just tried to control you, manipulate you, and just keep you under their thumb.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's one reason why like today like you're single?
Yeah, I feel like I finally learned my lesson that I can't save people that don't want to be saved, and I shouldn't have to, and I shouldn't. That's not my burden.
That's the answer right there.
Yeah.
It's not your. You shouldn't have to. Just and it's vice versa. Like men shouldn't have to save no woman, and a woman shouldn't have to save no man. Not somebody that you're like trying to be intimately involved with. Mm-hmm. Like a friend or somebody you might care about. Like that's different. Like saving them and helping them get on their feet. But when it comes to relationship, like whatever your non-negotiables are, those have to stay intact.
Yeah.
And I think that and I don't want to dive into a relationship conversation, but I'm just going to say this about that. I think that's why a lot of relationships fail is because people, they have these non-negotiables and then either experiences or friends or family or whatever, social media, I don't know, convinces them that maybe their standards are too high or maybe that's not a big deal. And then or maybe that person that they get involved with somehow changes their minds, where they like it's not that big of a deal. They against their better judgment, against their gut feeling, and just the standards they put in place for themselves. They literally kind of like drop those and go with it, and then next thing you know, everything seems good, and then it just comes crashing down.
Yeah.
And you if you just stuck to your non-negotiables, that would have given you the discernment that you needed to choose not to be with this person.
Yeah, and
So
but because of my upbringing, I didn't really have any non-negotiables.
yeah, no,
I
I'm not
didn't know,
speaking
but
of
yeah,
you. I'm not
yeah,
speaking
yeah.
of
But
you.
in general, yeah, yeah. If you definitely stick to your guns, like set boundaries for yourself, and then hold yourself accountable for not like following through with those. If that's what ends up happening, like
Yeah,
know that like things will not get better. Like things are not gonna like. I mean, more often than not, like when he's saying that he's sorry, he's not. He's sorry that like you're like he got caught and that he has to deal with you being upset, but he's not really sorry for what he did.
yeah.
And like and that same boyfriend that was manipulated and all that stuff. He also he was so twisted. Like he one time he had me come over to the hotel that he was staying at or that we were staying at, and then all of a sudden a naked guy popped out of the closet, and he had set up with this guy and told this guy that I had a rape fantasy, and that guy needed to like pretend like he was raping me or whatever, and then he'd watch or somewhere, and I was like what, and I was telling him I was like no dude, I'm not trying to do this, and the guy was thinking that I was just, and then like
Think that's
playing
part
like
of the fantasy.
and like I guess my boyfriend said like just play along, and I finally had to punch him in the face and say I'm not kidding, and then the guy was just like super embarrassed and was like I'm so sorry, and then that same boyfriend like ended up killing my dog, and then because I love my dog, and one dog he took with him, and then bring back home with him, like and somehow she disappeared, and then the second one he ended up killing, and then leaving it at the house and going and getting a hotel, and then not telling me anything about it until I would meet up with him, and then he was trying to like have sex with me, and I was like no, I'm gonna check out my dog, and he said she's dead, and I was like what, and then we went back to the house, and then he was like he said you're gonna have to do something with it because it's starting to stink, and I was like I was like what do you mean it, that's her that's she that's neat, that's my baby, and
Yeah.
and I ended up having to bury her myself, and yeah, it was just
How are you just doing mentally today? Sitting here today, how are you doing mentally? Truthfully.
I deal with it like using like comedy, like I feel like if I'm funny, it makes me feel better, like make jokes about it, because that's the only way that I can really, I guess, deal with it in a way.
I ain't no therapist, so do you think that's healthy? Like to just kind of like make joke about it and not actually.
Well, no, I mean, and also like I try to help other people that like I see like myself in that situation, or like I try to be the person for them that like I felt like I needed, But my main problem is I do that for the wrong people a lot of times.
What makes them the wrong people?
Because they're not trying to help themselves, or they're just trying to like take advantage of me, or just use me for what they can, and then not give a shit that like I'm in no position to give more of myself than what you need, like than what you actually need and what you're actually wanting to reciprocate with. Because there's so many times I tried to build lives with people, and it's just, and I put all my effort and everything into it, and then it ends up I lose everything, and I had to walk away with nothing. And so I basically I feel like now I can see that, and I can know that like if I just put that much effort and love into myself, then I'll be farther ahead in life, and like and I'll be better off in the long run no matter what.
Okay. If you could talk to like one person, anybody that you've encountered, or family member or whatever, from the time as far back as you can remember to now, you could sit down and have a conversation with them that you think would probably be the most beneficial for you. Who would it be and why?
Again, probably my stepmom. I would just love to just understand and know, or know that she's sorry, or that if she is, or know that like, or like just tell her how it's affected me, and because they're super rich, they have so much money, it's ridiculous, and I've been out here struggling, and like it's just like, how's that fair,
Yeah.
At least give me some like kind of like monetary compensation for what you did to me, like if nothing else, because for her to just to be, and she goes over to Africa and works with children in Africa on Mormon missions and stuff. It's just like I can't even believe it.
Wait, that's right. I didn't think about that. This same lady who's doing all that, she's a Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
Did she try to convert you guys to be Mormon?
Oh, she did. She converted my stepdad, and so we were a practicing Mormon family. Like my sister married the bishop's kid, so.
What does practicing Mormon look like?
It's basically no caffeine. Going to church every Sunday. Just basically just living life for God and all that stuff. And usually like a lot of kids because they don't believe in birth control either. And yeah, it's just.
You said there's a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they don't believe in birth control, so they're just popping them off left and right. So.
Okay. Who inspires you?
I have like a friend that inspires me and shows me like because I mean, there's a couple of friends that show me what success looks like and how to what life could be
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me set my standards for where I want to be at and what I can attain so.
Actually, you know what? With that in mind, like, how has success changed for you? Like, what success means? How has that changed for you from before to now?
I think that that I'm able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I'm a good person and I haven't let everything that has happened to me like turn me into like a bitter or like spiteful or like I even though I struggle like I go about things the right way. Like I don't fucking me over in order to make myself in a better position, and I think like that is successful in itself, and that I'm still like wanting to like try, and I haven't given up, and I haven't yeah I haven't like given up on myself or like on what could be in my life one day, So I feel like when I did want to kill myself, like I'm glad I didn't because I mean, for one thing, it's very selfish to those that love you, and for two, it's like you never get to see you never get to see your full potential and like prove to yourself like how great you can be.
Yeah. How did you find out about the podcast?
One of my friends on Facebook posted that he was going on to it, so.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Who was that?
Ryan Blake. I think.
Ryan, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Big shout out to Ryan. His episode will be dropping soon.
Nice.
What made you want to come on?
I feel like my story needs to be told, and and it's also therapeutic for me for people to know what happened to me, and like that, and for those that are going through similar things or like worse or or something that they are having a hard time dealing with. I hope that they know that like people are out there that can understand where you're coming from, and that if you just trust yourself and trust them enough to know that like you're safe to share that with people, then it will lift a huge weight off yourself. Like when after my dad hung himself and stuff, like for a long time I couldn't like watch any movies that had like anything like that going on in it, and then one time I finally told someone about what had happened with him, and I just felt this huge weight like lift off my chest, and I was like, whoa. And that's what really taught me that like mental health is a real thing, and that like talking about it helps.
Yeah. What was I gonna ask you? To anybody who's watching this episode, right? What's like the biggest takeaway, like the thing you want them to like take away from your story?
That I guess just no matter where you come from, like people out there care and they love you, and they don't even have to know you, and they can still love you and care about you, and just know that like if you reach out, you can get the support and help and love that you need, and that you're not being given by those that you have in your life, and that can take you so far in life. Just that knowing that you have people behind your back that are rooting for you, and that that you can always turn to others for help if you are asking the right people.
And last question for you: when it's all said and done, when God calls you home, what do you want the people to remember you for? What do you want to be remembered as? Like how?
A good friend.
Why is that important for you to be remembered as that?
Because I put so much effort into being one.
What do you think makes you a good friend?
I'm pretty cool to hang out with. I guess I try to be there for people and without having my own ulterior motives, and I'm so happy for their success, and I want nothing but the best things for them.
Okay. Oh, I lied. I said last question. This is the last question. Um, what did you think about the podcast?
I thought it was great. Thank you for having me on. I think that you're a great host, and I feel like I feel heard. I definitely feel heard.
Oh, there we go. That's what
Thank
I
you.
wanted you to do. I wanted you to feel heard. All right, look. This is the part of the episode where we kind of like switch roles. I allow you to ask me one or two questions. So whenever you got your questions, shoot
Um, what do you do in your spare time?
this. No, I'm joking. Honestly, I go to the gym a lot now. I used to always go to the gym, but truthfully, I bowl. I go
Oh,
bowling.
yeah.
Bowling is not only therapeutic for me, it's just peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't have to worry about dealing with abundance of being in a situation where that environment makes you like men and women or people want to like kind of like be all over each other or like to inquire about each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, it's just a place where we all just come have fun. I mean, granted, that does happen. People, do, meet and all that kind of stuff there for sure. But it's not that's not what it's designed for. Like going
Mm-hmm.
to a bar or to a club. So I enjoyed that. Plus, there's really no drama really at the bowling. I have had like some situations happen, but I've been bowling consistently for 4 years, and I think that it's a good ratio. If out of 4 years, I only had two situations happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bowl at least once a week.
Nice. And then, do you have any pets?
Do I have pets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have two. I have they're both like Chihuahua breeds. So I have Roscoe. He's a Chiweenie, so
Mm-hmm.
a Chihuahua and a Dachshund. And then there's Ace. He's a deerhead Chihuahua. He's like 3 pounds.
Nice.
And I've had multiple dogs over the years. And I will say this: I think that Roscoe is probably the smartest dog, mentally and emotionally, and I'm willing to put him up against anybody's dog. No, I'm joking.
I was gonna say, bet. Find out.
Nah. I think that we all need them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why dogs are considered a man's best friend or just a person's best friend,
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately, even if you treat this animal wrong, he's still gonna be loyal to you,
Yeah.
and he's still going to have your back. He might be mad, like my Roscoe. He has emotions. He will literally show you his facial expressions,
Mm-hmm.
how he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If you did him, if you let's just say you went into his snack closet, picked up his treats, and then you put him down and close the door, the look on his face,
Mm-hmm.
you'll know that he's
Yeah.
pissed off. And then like when you haven't shown him much attention or like you having a bad day, like literally he will just come. He gives hugs, like he'll crawl up on you, and then he'll
Oh.
turn his head sideways and snuggle up on you like that.
Mm-hmm.
I taught him that. He's just an amazing dog. Just an amazing dog.
Yeah, dogs are important.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, look. Again, I'm from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry that you had to deal with the things that you went through. And like I said, if your stepmom's watching, hopefully someone shares this to her or she sees it, and you guys can. I wouldn't say necessarily rekindle the relationship, but at least find some closure for you.
Yeah.
So that way you can heal from that fully. And if you ever want to come back and be on the podcast, I'd love to have you. Just let me know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then for all you guys out there, if you made this far, you enjoyed this episode, let us know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you head over to Instagram and follow us on Instagram at Minor Emotions the Podcast. Same thing on TikTok. And if you want to come be on the podcast, shoot me an email to mineremotionthepodcast@gmail.com or shoot me a text message to area code 702-525-6118. We out of here. Peace.